Fellow Ambazonians, I'm glad to have you watching with me today. But today in Ambazonia is a somber day. It is a somber day in Ambazonia. And I cannot dare call it a good day. Or I'm very reluctant to say good afternoon because the afternoon is not good in Ambazonia. And it is on this note, ladies and gentlemen, that I come to you today so that we can talk about the issues affecting us in our own very homeland. It is a somber day. It's a dark day in Ambazonia. Ambazonia mourns. And we have to take this. It is not easy to bear, but we have to bear it because that's the cost that we must bear to free ourselves from eternal domination and slavery. Little did we know that human beings could treat others with such barbarism as we experienced or our people experienced in Mamfe yesterday. However, before I go ahead to talk about the details of this incident, I would like to bring in my panel for today so that we can together try to wrap our minds around the rationale that someone would have to do something so heinous. And we will look at the details of the events that transpired since yesterday. And we will place these details in front of Ambazonians so that you can judge for yourselves why those who did it did it. And if accusations are being launched or being placed somewhere else, what is the rationale for it? It is on this note, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, that I would like to bring in my panel. I have with me this afternoon Comrade PK will be joining me. I have Dr. Ngwambe who will be joining me as well as Abusama Thomas. So, gentlemen, if you are there, let me see you so we can start this rather this show, which is starting on rather a very sad note. A very sad note. It's a dark day in Ambazonia, but that is what we have endured since our forefathers made the tragic mistake of coming together with the Republic of Cameroon. And we have paid the price and paid the price, and we're continuing to pay the price to this day. So, Dr. Kwambe, if you are there, please, let me see you.
My fellow Ambazonians, afternoon, evening, and morning, wherever you find yourself. Today is one of those unfortunate, heartbreaking days that we, the people of Ambazonia, are going through for the price to pay the price to be free. The Ambazonian family, we are together. We're standing together, and we're telling La Republique du Cameroon, no, you're not going to get away with killing our people. You're not going to get away with trying to pin this kind of heinous crime on us. This is very, very unacceptable. Our hearts are crying. We're mourning, and on behalf of the interim government and all the people of Ambazonia, everywhere that we are, we extend our condolences, our heartfelt condolences, to the families of the loved ones who have been taken away from them. Please know that the people of Ambazonia, we stand with you. To our brothers and sisters and our family in Mamfe, we stand with you. We are with you. We are together. I want to salute my brother PK, Honorable Samatamas, and also you, my brother Mike, as we tackle this very, very painful situation. In short, I'm fighting with just the right words to say because this is very painful.
It is very painful, Dr. Ngombe. It's very painful, and it's very painful even to come and sit in front of the camera and try to talk about this. It's a very emotional situation, and but during the course of this show, we are going to take a look at where this all started, how it all started, and who is responsible for this. The ultimate responsible party for all this. We are going to take a look at that. Honorable Pique, I know you were feeling sick earlier during the day. I'm glad that you indicated some moments ago that you're able to join us. So, Honorable Comrade Pique, I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Mike, and all the panelists. Actually, it's been a tough day for me because it's kind of cold. The temperatures are kind of low, and I didn't protect myself properly, so I caught a cold, and it affected me today. It was like I wrote to you earlier that I might not make it, but I said no. It's a very important topic, and the times are tough. The stakes are high, so I think it's worth joining the panel. And actually, as the brother just said, I'm really speechless to say what happened in Mamfe. And what makes it tragic is the finger pointing, the ambiguity that we don't even know who's in charge because we've had so many different versions, everybody pushing it to the other side, which actually shows a particular weakness, a vacancy in our own vigilance to understand what is really going on in our space. One of the things that we have to be very careful with is to be able to track down these crimes irrespective of who does them, because sometimes people use the revolutionary motive to hide behind their personal scores. And I think that is what actually has transcended that you don't know when the people step out of the revolutionary line and get into the private family feuds and things like that. It's a very complicated issue. And we know that it's not the only one that maybe it's on the hinge in Amazonia. It can happen anywhere, anytime. So I think this is one of the biggest challenges that we have to look going forward. Very important because this is what the enemy wants. This is what the enemy cashes on. This is what the enemy capitalizes on because it's important for them for us to get in this kind of tragic confusion so that the world sees us as actually a bunch of rooks, and we know how the world out there works. They're very hypocritical. They always support the sovereign because they've got their ties, they've got their economic ties, which is very important. As we stand today, we are all on our own, which means we have to actually redefine and change the paradigm way forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you for braving the call that you had to be here with us, Comrade Pique. I
When they
appreciate it very
do,
much.
they carry, they take a report for people who run die. They will give their people the out for their various families. Una hear? Make all we be strong heart. Una self una not that when it be start. All we be the top. Now, not be about military, not about which is it. Yes. As the all start so, make we be one another's keeper. Make all we learn forget wisdom enough for our house. When you see something, you blow alarm, make all man come up. This thing where that happen, so at the height of wickedness, this. At the height of fear, evil, this. If all of us do not stand up, those who are farmers them, before they want to come out from town, they go there for their farms them. If you know what you need to know for succeed, they will try. That's good. Release them officially. They will carry.
Okay. Those are some of the images coming out of Mamfe. I think we're still to welcome Officer Matamas. Officer Matamas, are you there?
Good afternoon, Comrade Mike, and thank you for having me in this platform again today for us to talk about our people. And let me use this opportunity to extend my heartfelt condolences to the families that have just lost their loved ones. What can we say? This is what happens when you live with a barbarian that you think or call him a neighbor or friend or whatever, be sure that you will always be facing this type of situation until the day you get rid of that barbarian, before you'll be free of suffering from all this mayhem. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we proceed, I just want us to take a minute of silence in honor of those who have been slaughtered in Mamfe. Let's just have a minute of silence before we continue with the show. And it starts now. May the souls of those who were so brutally killed rest in peace, and may those who are responsible for this gruesome act be brought to justice. Uh, Fellow comrades, here we are again. This is not the first time. We've seen it before. We've seen this act before. It's been played not once, not twice, not thrice. We've seen it many times. I can go on to name them. I can name Gabo. I can name Santa. I can name Kwakwa. I can name Kembong. I can name Bali. Where can I stop? We've seen this before. We've seen it in Kumba, where hospitals were burnt down. We've seen this. We've seen this game before that has been played on us by the enemy. But let me not get ahead of myself. In a country that is supposed to be a country of law and order, where we are considered to be the same country, and something like this happens. I don't know if any of you has been watching the media in La Republic of Cameroon to see how much coverage has been given to this incident. Have you heard how much coverage has been given to this incident? Have you seen any outrage on the part of those that control that country? Have you seen any outrage on their part? If we were really one country, everything would have been done. You would have seen things being done, specialists being moved into that area to find out exactly what happened. That is not what you see. And these are people who want us to believe that we are in the same country. We have seen this game before. We have seen the same act played over and over and over, where this idea of setting houses on fire in revenge for whatever is not our thing. It's not in our culture to do that. This is something that was brought in by French Cameroon. So I want just to pick your brains, fellow comrades, starting with you, comrade. I know that there are some who are still expressing reservations or doubts as to what happened, who is responsible. But I keep asking myself, because for every act there's a motive. If someone decided to go in and do this, what is the motive for that person to do this? Because you always say, follow the motive. Is it money? Is it vengeance? What is it? Let us follow the motive and find out who is responsible for this act. Comrade Pique.
Yes, Brother Mike, thank you so much. I've gone through a lot of finger pointing, a lot of messages about this problem in Mamfe, and every one that you listen to or you read seem to be very convincing, which makes it very difficult to understand what's really going on. But there's a line that I've drawn. Whatever happened is a mixture of amber to amber and instigated by people from the LRC, which are quite far away and behind. These guys, they know exactly the stake, whoever did it. If it's the ambas who did it, It's been instigated by somebody who's got political strings, who
Mm-hmm.
influences these people, because we got people coming down from the hills down to the village to kill others. It's not only a village crime, it's a targeted killing. It's a targeted killing, which means people knew where they were going to. And most of the time, it's like private scores that have been settled. We don't know if the gendarmerie knew about it because they are there and they should know about these things. There's a
Mm-hmm.
controversial video which actually shows somebody speaking in French while the houses are still burning. You see, so
Mm-hmm.
there's so many contradictory things in this whole setup that it's very difficult to point at one person. It's a whole interconnection of some amber madness and some LRC instigation. We have to now sort out and see who's in charge because they're all in charge in certain degrees. We've heard from from voices from the ground who also give different versions of the story. I have like four or five
Mm-hmm.
different versions, which make it quite difficult to understand what is really the issue. But then, according to one of the homeboys down there, it's something which has been going on for a while. It's been cooking for a while. So at the end of the day, I think it's not just an amber crime to an amber whatever, because it's deeper than that. It transcends. And as I said again, people actually mask their personal threats and use the revolution behind it. If at all, it's Ambas who did this. I'm not still very convinced. I know this thing is deeper than we see. It doesn't matter what reports come out there.
Okay. Okay. Officer Matamas, what's your take on this?
Going to my friend PK and Dr. Ngwam. Uh, if I followed all the same like PK is saying, I don't know if you guys are getting me.
Yes, we're getting you 5 and 5.
Yes, yes.
If
Yes,
I
we're
watch
getting you.
particular,
Mhm.
yes, if I get what this mayor is doing, this must to pursue the nation to follow the narrative that was given to them by Larapop. That the action that took in Mamfe was by Southern activists that carried out that mayhem in Mamfe. But unfortunately for him, the response expected to get from the crowd that didn't come from the crowd because the population of Mamfe knew exactly who carried out mayhem, but are afraid to point it out that it was them
Yes.
that did
Yes,
it.
that's what I think.
If pretending, when they are pretending that it was carried out by the same, it is not in a rural area or a disenclaved area where workers cannot reach or where the military is. As report reaching us shows that where that incident took place, there is a gendarmerie brigade not up to 500 meters away. If the case, how can such an action be taken close to a gendarmerie brigade that 50 over 50 or 24 persons are killed and there was not an intervention by the gendarmes in that area or a call for reinforcement to handle that situation. With all put in place, there is king gone elsewhere. This action is carried out by a lot of public, the same as they did in Gabu. When they massacre people in Gabu, the very first thing the separatists have done it. After 3 weeks, oh, it was done by the vigilante. How can random people be in whenever these guys are going elsewhere, they will push additional military men and send to here with arms. Where was this armor tanks? Where were these arms that we saw in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
The morning that were standing in the crowd. Why
Mm-hmm.
didn't they use, if they knew or if they know that what happened in Mamfe was carried out by the separatists, why didn't they use those armor tanks to chase away those separatists or capture the separatists or kill them if these guys are not pretending? If these guys are not really master crafters of lies, how can it be possible that they have all those weapons with them there and infiltrators happens to breach their security and carry out such a heinous crime in Mamfe? I will be
And
the last to
and
accept that narrative.
that's the one thing that I've been wondering, that okay, if it were done by ambers, why would the gendarmes who are very close by and the military who had been in town in their numbers because of the so-called celebration of Mr. Bia's 41 years of failure in office, why is it that not even not one of them could come to the rescue until everything had been done, until the 50 innocent people had been slaughtered? That is when they showed up now to take pictures of the carnage. Where were they during the actual commission? Because killing people, 50 people does not, you don't take 10 minutes to kill 50 people. Because you have to go from house to house to house and then set the houses on fire. It takes quite some time to do that. And not one military person was able to stumble up on the act to stop them or even get one of the culprits. When, as I say, Honorable Sama Thomas, you see, the one thing that La Republic has used so effectively of recent has been these boys who are called DDR inmates. They bring them out, they speak our language, they speak the pidgin fluently, they send them ahead and use them to commit such acts of barbarism, and then just so that, because remember, we had some intelligence just recently that La Republic is planning to use this divide and rule tactic again as a last resort to stop this struggle. So they came in now and use this. They come in and they use these boys in order to inflame the population against the genuine restoration fighters. We have never seen, it has never been the attitude of our boys to go in, burn houses, and burn human beings in those houses. No, our boys have never been known to do something like that. It is something that La Republic has done over and over and over and over again. It is their trademark. So I find it very difficult to believe that. And again, I ask myself, why will Amber Boys do this? I want someone to tell me, give me one reason why they will kill their own fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters. Why would they do that? I just want someone to tell me, give me one reason. What is the incentive? They did not come in there to steal anything. They did not come in there to take anything. It was simply an act of pure wickedness, vengeance. I don't know what it is. So, Dr. Gwambe, I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but we will go through some of the evidence that we're having here, or the narratives that are coming out here, and why I personally believe that La Republic is responsible. I don't know if Dr. Weber has a different opinion about this.
So, for my contributor, Mike, and my fellow panelists, anytime where I see the kind incident, no, wait, did it happen? So, my first suspect na La Republic du Cameroon until proven otherwise. Because all we know say we still get our brother them from this very region, from this very Mamfe Manu region, where they don't run go ground one. For like I said, the kind of incidents. La Republic du Cameroon has a track record of killing our people in this kind of way. Burning homes, huge numbers of losses, and then they try to pin it on us. My fellow Ambazonian, may we check sense. There is no strategic advantage, right? Absolutely no strategic advantage that we as Ambazonians or our forces in Ground Zero gain from performing this type of activity. Absolutely none. What does this benefit us? Does going out and committing this kind of heinous activity win the hearts and minds of the Ambazonian people? No. So why? So what would be the point of doing this kind of thing? But guess what? La Republique du Cameroon has everything to gain by doing these types of stuff, because when they do it, because there's so much ambiguity going on, there's all this kind of confusion on it, and they essentially control the media space because they're the dominant media environment. They have the dominant media platforms in that country that can jump on the story before we can even get there. They start pumping out all these false narratives to implicate our brothers and sisters who are fighting for all of us to be free. So, I mean, the situation is rather unfortunate, and there's only ultimately one solution for this particular situation. The people in the international community, people who, Anglophones, I'm going to call them Anglophones, who are wearing CPDM out government, if they truly want peace, and if French Cameroonais, if they truly want peace, they need to pressure government. They need to put pressure on Dictator Biya to commit to a negotiation process and commit to getting us, all of us who are stakeholders in this liberation struggle, and get a comprehensive peace agreement, which includes an exclusive internationally supervised referendum so that Ambazonians can have justice. That is the only thing there, because it's La Republique du Cameroon that is delaying these children from being able to go back to school. It is La Republique du Cameroon that is delaying to the country. It is La Republique du Cameroon who is keeping Ambazonians from continuing to live their life as they knew it and from being free. So let the blame go to where it truly belongs, and that is to La Republique du Cameroon for not pursuing the right way of achieving peace, and for sending their insecurity forces to be committing these atrocities in the name of getting the civilians to turn against the liberation forces.
Yes, Dr. Wabe, I think you said it well there, because when you look at some of the statements that have been sent out here, with regards to eyewitness testimonies from the ground, the only eyewitness testimonies that are coming from in support of La Republique's narratives are coming from the likes of Kawa Yannick, who is an enabler. All of the eyewitness testimonies that are coming from the ground have pointed the accusing finger at La Republique du Cameroon, that they are the ones that did it. And like you said, these are not people who are operating in a peace environment. Any of these individuals who knows the truth and comes out to say it, that person is dead. That person will be eliminated. So the truth is there, but the people are afraid to bring it out. Who is going to stand in La Republique and say, yes, I saw the military do it? Who is going to do it? Nobody is going to do it. So, and that is why people are saying, oh, the evidence is there, but who has the courage to bring it out? Even those who are giving it are doing so anonymously. And I have one other audio here, which I would like for us to listen to briefly.
As I explained before, the attack for Mamfe, na military they do am. How I take no say na military they do am. Now my classmate, where he take part, he himself as an army, he take part for this attack. He be a commander for Kumba Up Station B camp. So the captain go put in name for this operation, and he no be like him. So that's why he exposed them. There was a meeting Saturday and Sunday, 2 times meeting in the gendarmerie brigade for Mamfe, opposite old brasseries near government primary school for Mamfe. This gendarme is 5-minute walk from gendarme to Egbeko village, where this action will take place. This meeting, where they hold them 2 times for gendarmerie brigade, it was to use an old conflict between oversight Mamfe and Egbeko village for Mamfe. so that it go be like say now Amazonian military force them they carry this attack so that it will turn the civilian population against the revolution and then fight the fighters so that they will expose all the fighters now so that the military and the gendarme they will kill all the fighters and then say the fighters they instead attack civilian them so that make it portray the military like na them be good people. That was the objective of those two meetings. In that meeting for gendarme, for Gendarmerie Brigade, there was the SDO of Mamfe, there was the mayor of Mamfe, there was top elite CPDM members, there was the lieutenant colonel of Mamfe, there was the captain of gendarmerie for Mamfe in that meeting. So, since Mamfe no overget big army camp where if it take all the army them, most of the army them for Mamfe they live with civilians them. That means they rent for civilian quarters. They live with civilians them. So most military, their and their names they've been known by the local people them for Mamfe, the local community. So they know if you use the military for Mamfe, they go bring military for Bamenda and Kumba. That's why my classmate, when a commander for upstation, big camp, in name come out for they say he must go for that operation because he goes school for Mamfe.
Comrades, you see, like all these eyewitness accounts, and we listened to another audio again from Kawa Yannick, who was gloating. He was gloating that it's sweet. Those who were from this area, Egbeko, that they have been seeing Amber boys passing through there, and they have not been reporting these Amber boys to the military. So my question then is this: to confirm what this guy is saying here, if the Amber boys have been passing through that area and that area has been friendly to them, allowing them to pass freely, why then will they come back and kill the very people who have been friendly to them? That is something that I want someone to tell me. Why would they now come back again and kill the same people who have been friendly to them? There is somebody who has to gain by sowing seeds of discord between that population and the Amazonian fighters. That person is none other than the agent of La Republique du Cameroon. That's what I think. I don't know if Comrade Pike, I'm just trying for us
Yes.
to follow these things, this narrative, and follow the evidence that's coming from the ground, so that we draw a logical conclusion here. What is your take on this? Following what this guy is saying here, that he knows one of the commanders personally who took part in this thing, and you heard it yourself.
Yes, sir. You see, again, as I said earlier in the introduction, I cannot really dispute whoever says what. One thing is, we all out here, we are on a hearsay mode. And all the versions I've heard, they've been very convincing. I have two versions that I've heard that there was a meeting in Victoria, which actually was held by the elite of some, I see Boki, they call this place somewhere up there. And they instigated this massacre. Very convincing it was. There's another one that I heard from Capo Daniel who claimed to have actually contacted people in Ground Zero. Very convincing. There's another one of the Amber boys who was shot by an Amber group that belongs maybe to this family or whatever that was killed on the forehead in a canoe in the Manu River, which actually brought them to this level, this high pitch. So what I said again is like, we will have to listen to all these versions and try to see how we can make our own conclusion by aligning them all together and see where, for example, the controversy comes if we don't really get to hold the right version. But as it is, again, as Doctor said, the thing is, this is a trademark of La République du Cameroun. It's been their trademark. And again, of all the versions I've heard that it was Amber Boys who did it, for example, it was very disproportional of what I heard, that those victims or whoever were actually the perpetrators of the crime, and this one that was done now was was kind of a revenge. It was
Mhm.
very disproportional, which actually makes me to doubt. You see, so again, La Republique has understood our game, has listened to our arguments, and they're trying to drive a wedge into all these
Yes,
divisions so that we
yes,
can spend more time fighting each other and they can have a day. That is
yes,
actually what I'll say. This is a sovereign
yes,
state. It has all the resources to play games, do this, do that, and that's what they do. As I said again, before the fires got finished, there was somebody speaking French in the scene. That is
yes.
very strange, as a matter of fact. It's very
And,
strange. You see, because
and,
normally
and to the point that
never should have been
that
there
person,
before anybody.
the same people who could not call for intervention were there speaking French and taking
Exactly.
pictures.
Exactly.
So
You see, so
I think you
I
have a
will say
point there.
again, yes, I will say whatever happened, even if it was personal scores, village, the contra village, it's deeper than that. There's some CPDM machine working in this thing. We have to go to the root of the problem. Those who did
Yes.
it were just maybe the end of the link, and they maybe executed whatever they had been uh, given like instructions to do. That's what I can say. That's for me the settling argument that this crime is bigger than the normal, humble, basic Amber boy. They don't have that
Yes.
courage to do such a thing.
Yes.
And if that was the case, why should they be killing the daughters, the little girls, and the little boys? They don't have anything to do with this. It was easy for
Hmm.
them to go into it and collect the person who was responsible and kill that person than killing everybody and then burn the houses. I mean, this is not
Yes.
just one house, it was a whole
Yeah.
complex. You see,
Yeah.
if they had the
Why
courage to
burn the
get in
houses?
there,
Yeah.
if they had the
Why
courage to
burn the
get in there,
houses?
they could have still got in and choose and pick out and pick out. They have all the time in the world. But then,
Yes.
what I mean, it's contrary to reason. The victims are actually in a level of. I mean, it doesn't match together. It's been a La Republique trademark. So I stay on that. It doesn't matter if it was Amazonians who pulled the trigger. There's a bigger game behind pulling the string. That's what I can say.
Exactly. Exactly. That is the point. Because when you look at this thing, it is not it's not our culture. It's not our thing to desecrate dead bodies. We don't desecrate dead bodies. That is a hallmark of La Republique du Cameroon. They like to, after killing somebody, they like to desecrate the body again, burn the body, do whatever, all horrible things that these people do to. After the person is already dead, this is what they do. Now, Osama Thomas, we also saw someone testifying that, oh, some of the girls that were there had been raped, right? That some of the girls that were already dead had been raped. So my question is, we all know what it takes to determine whether somebody has been raped or not. It takes a medical examination. You cannot just look at somebody lying there and determine whether that person has been raped or not. So the person who is saying that the women were raped, how did he know that the women were raped? Could it be that either he knows who did it or he is one of those who did it? Because how else did he know that the women were raped? Or was he present when the rape was happening? This is what I've been thinking and trying to imagine. How did this person know that these women were raped? Observer Thomas.
Well, the guys when they go carry out that crime, they don't write a script, put over down. Say as we go carry out this crime, now the narrative this way will get for keep on simultaneously the person out for the world for understand. It will be rape. And by they burn people then before they burn the people, they rape the people. Like another narrative, they come now from La Republique in Massacre from France, saying that separatist fighters when they go, that's a new element now stepping in, which we need to be
Mhm.
connecting the dots. What is happening down there? Saying that separatist fighters they come in, say the people they kill them 50 people or 24 as they tell we. Now black leg wey Amba boys they come in for kill him. Just imagine the lies where La Republic dey tell am. So one incident will take place when Aye KBC be alive. He go for some village for Lebialem. He pick up 119 people. He go with them, torture them. He will kill nobody. Is that 19 people? He be picking up. The incident about 2 years ago, where we are both go up for Ngoke, not Ngoke, but Ndonga, go arrest people over there, go beat them. Then be ever burn any house for day. We are boys will always be out for do a correction. Like the incident will take place for Babanki, where we all will condemn them. We are boys never ever beat or rape. They beat, but never ever rape anybody for day. So any narrative about the game say they rape somebody like Kawa Yannick in the glass yeah Amba Bozo the Bosnia the Pierre do not know. So La Republic use a pretext say this what they do Amba Bozo the always pass the talk now enemies of La Republic. So make we go inflict this damage on these people, then give the narrative say now Amba Boys them. How Amba Bozo will get a friend where it protect them, it give him passage. Then that same friend, Amber boys will turn around, go kill, go no, not even kill them, they roast them inside house, then rape them. That is all the narrative La Republic give them about which will happen for Mamfe. It not the add up like the Ngabu situation, the world at large. We will feel say the crimes wey La Republic commit for southern country don't too much, where the world will step in for do their own investigation. They will say make La Republic go investigate the crime. They can give them. Unfortunately for La Republic, when they be ask and for be sincere for himself from Gabu, he go investigate himself. He say yes. Now some two gendarmes, them more than two army or two gendarmes, them they will go with vigilante. They go burn the people over there. They do whatever they keep picking them. But to La Republic never arrest that two army them and may they bring a vigilante and the two army them for court for judge them why they go carry out that act from Garbo. So now Mamfe don't enter for inside like Bar be for day, like Pinin be for day. I be anybody where we talk say oh go get down about La Republic trademark. Say this one no La Republic carry am. It will also get doubt about which will happen for Pinin, Ngabo, Bali, and elsewhere for Southern Cameroons, when La Republic go born hospital for Kumba, with the soldiers for inside, we can take picture when the hospital is born, but they talk say, as the hospital is born, so now I'm going to born this hospital, but I'm in there for inside, they take pictures. How possible can that be? So, make the Tabitandons and the mayor were able to try for deceive the population for follow the narrative of La Republic, make them keep on the play their game, feel say them be served. Make the Kawa Yannick, they are glad today, say it don't happen now for somebody. All of you are Amber boys. All of you are les ennemis dans la maison. It's just a matter of time. Your own day is coming. Freedom is better than living with a friend that you are always sleeping with one eye closed and the other one open for fear of your own life. No Southern Cameroonians who is still alive is afraid to Larkuru Cameroon.
Yeah, and when you talk about these enablers like the Kawa Yannick and the others, and they go give the impression say that they're fine, but you need to see how they be treated. See the way they treat them. See even not even to go down to someone like Kawa Yannick. See how they treat John Gute, who is supposed to be their prime minister. See how they treat it's an errand boy. When they want to say me go fully people and they take his stand and he can't begin to bow down like some Ghana court did. But go back for you and see how they treat it. It's secretary get power party. So Dr. Gabe, one of the things where I believe, and I say, these people, they do this thing that it be planned at the very highest level of the Republic Cameroon government. We know, say, they be supposed to celebrate what are for 41 years of uh, misery where you don't
Kingship,
bring them
royal
on,
kingdom.
on the people of, or the once referred to United Republic. But knowing, say, no record, no positive record, the way they go bring them out for sure for the so-called celebration where they get them. I believe say they will create this diversionary tactic. So that we will talk about this incident. Now, nobody need to even talk about the failure of Bobia for 41 years. You see, nobody talk about that now. Nobody is saying anything about the failure in leadership of Bobia for 41 years. The misery that he has brought on this territory. Everyone now is talking about Mamfe. Could it be that this thing was planned at the very highest level of La Republic's government for this very reason, to hide Forbia's abysmal record as a leader? I think let's make the last statement on this topic, and we'll go into that record itself and examine it. Dr. Ngwambi?
I mean, looking at the way some of the commentary and some of the videos that have come out, it is very believable that that's the direction that this could have gone. Because, as my fellow panelists have rightfully pointed out, how is there a francophone in the midst of those burning homes, and he's talking about people who've been raped and all these types of activities as if he was an eyewitness, or better yet, as if this was a formulated talking points that they would use in their attempt to document a crime that they're going to
Yeah, who
pin.
examined who examined those women to know if they were raped? Who examined them?
Yep,
Who was the medical
yep.
doctor on the spot to examine them and to tell whether they were raped? These are just the things that these people say these things, and they feel that people are just so stupid to
So
see
stupid.
through
I know.
a small screen. Huh?
Yeah.
Continue. Yeah, just tell me.
Yes, I mean, so when you see some of these types of things, and then you even see how quick the mayor got out there to come and be making statements, you just begin to wonder, like, if you could quickly get there like that, why was it that the forces of, let me call them the insecurity forces of La Republique de Cameroon, could not have been notified to come in and arrest the situation? And it all points out to the fact that there was something that they had planned out to do, and they would be using all their gimmicks to attempt to get away with it. Ultimately, like I said earlier, for me, I don't believe Ambazonians did it just because there's no strategic advantage for us doing this. Doing
There's
that
no
doesn't help
advantage.
us.
There's just no
It doesn't help
advantage.
us.
What's the
I,
advantage? There's no advantage. It's not like they stole anything. They didn't steal anything. Nothing.
yep,
So what's the use
yep,
doing it? Why even burn the
yep.
houses? We are not known to be burning down houses like that.
I mean, think about it. When you look at what's going on in the Gaza Strip, where the tactic that Hamas used was, they knew that whatever they do to Israel is going to overreact, and through that overreaction is going to create such a humanitarian crisis that the public perception would gradually shift away of being in favor of the Israelis and actually begin to shift towards the Palestinians. That's a tactic. This tactic right here, what is there for Ambazonians again? I mean, it just seems it doesn't make sense,
It
right?
doesn't.
It really doesn't make sense, because when you go, if for some reason Ambazonians allegedly go out and do this, what international sympathy would Ambazonians gain? What local sympathy would Ambazonians gain? Right? What support from the diaspora would Ambazonian fighters gain by doing an activity like this? What blue and white and gold bleeding Ambazonian would stand behind to support that type of an activity or finance it?
No.
It makes absolutely no sense. That's why I always say, when you look at it, these types of activities are committed by French Cameroon. Hold on one second, I'm getting a call coming in. Are committed by French Cameroon until proven otherwise. You understand? Now, for me, in these types of activities, Ambazonian liberation forces are innocent, right, until proven guilty whenever these type of situations come around.
Yes.
And on the opposite, it will be the Republic of Cameroon forces are
It's
guilty
guilty.
of,
Yeah.
of performing these activities until proven innocent, just because of their past history, their
Yes.
past propensity to do it. And they even actually have the capability to do it. My fellow Amazonians, I beg, check sense again. If Ambazonia Force had the capability of performing this type of activity, all the DO's offices that are all over the places, all the government buildings over the places, all the taxation offices that are all over the places, all the homes of La Republique du Cameroon civilians that are living in areas and their government officials that are all over the places, why haven't, if Ambazonia Force had the ability to do this type of act, why haven't they gone after those types of targets? Why haven't they done it?
That is
Is
what
this
that is
kind of
why
thing
we're
that
asking this
like I
question
say, it
for
doesn't
people
make
to think.
sense.
People should open their eyes and ask why. Why would they do this? At least I'm still asking, what is the incentive for our boys to do this? There's nothing for them to gain in doing this. Nothing. Now, I have there's a video which has the beginning of the tragedy that befell the triangle that was once called the United Republic of Cameroon. And this video is that which uh, announced Paul Biya being elevated to the office of President of the Republic or the United Republic. I'm using the name at the time just to put things in context. United Republic of Cameroon, that is what he inherited. So I have that video which was with Ahijo's voice in it, of course. So I would like the studio to play for us that video, and then we will take it from there and trace why we are where we are today, where we are now seeing as many as 50 and more people slaughtered. Is because it started on that day, the 6th of November, 1982. That infamous day, the day when dark clouds came over the skies of the triangle that was once called the United Republic of Cameroon. That day, let us get the video of what started that day that has destroyed the lives of millions of people and continues to destroy the lives of millions of people to this very day. Let's have that video. If we can have the video of the day Ahijo announced his resignation and handed power to Paul Biya, a tragic mistake for a whole generation of people. A whole generation of people have suffered and continue to suffer. And this monster is still sitting there, continuing to suck the blood of innocent people like a bloody vampire, not ready to disappear into the hell that he came from. A man is just sitting there sucking the blood of innocent people. He's not willing to go. I hope the studio has that video to play for us so that we put things in context and we build our discussion going forward from it. Um, I believe the studio has that video, the one where Ahijo made a brief statement, handing power to Paul Biya. It wasn't long. It wasn't long before Ahijo regretted that decision when he was manipulated and deceived into doing that. And let us remember that this is at the time the triangle that was called United Republic of Cameroon was a place where all uh, opportunity seekers within the continent of Africa were coming to seek to find their fortunes, jobs, you name it, businesses. People were very happy to come to what was called the United Republic of Cameroon because they saw it as a place of opportunity. Now, 41 years after, not even up to 41 years after, the fortunes have reversed, and it is now an exporter of job seekers, an exporter of organ donors. Our people are being used to harvest organs in other parts of the world. We have seen our people die in the deserts of North Africa. Others are dying in the jungles of Mexico. They are being used as slaves in East Africa, Dubai, and the others. That is what this place has become. And there's one person who is the architect of all this, and that is Paul Biya. I really wanted us to get that video of him, of Ahijo announcing the handover of power to Paul Biya. But maybe the studio is still trying to find it. But my further commentary will be this. This is the start of the endemic corruption that we have known under Paul Biya. Endemic corruption, corruption that has entered even into the churches. Even the churches are corrupt. Even the churches are corrupt. We have seen the dilapidation of infrastructure. And there's another video which came in just, I think it was yesterday, of a woman who gave birth on the street because the truck that was supposed to convey her to the hospital broke down in mud. Men had to rescue this woman from the car, put her on a piece of something by the side of the road there in mud, and that woman gave birth right there. That is what the country has become. Under who? Paul Biya. It's a place that has now become so economically bankrupt, economic stagnation, mismanagement and stagnation, I should say, because those in charge don't have a clue what they're doing, or maybe they know what they're doing, they are just stealing. Economic management to them means stealing all the money that is supposed to go in helping to develop the economy. We have seen a country that has gone down into what is supposed to have been democracy, but it is political deception. Political deception, intentional deception. They pretend to have democracy when what all they can give to the people is dictatorship. Now it is now a magnet for. It is now not. It used to be a magnet for opportunity seekers. Is now an exporter of opportunity seekers. We once had this place admired for its economic abundance, but now laughed at by the rest of Africa, especially, and the world at large. We've seen videos of Ghanaians and Nigerians making fun of what used to be called the United Republic of Cameroon. There is poverty and economic misery. A once peaceful country is now one where you see acts of barbarism, like the one we just saw here, we were just talking about here in Mamfe. We have seen where journalists are killed and mutilated, their body parts cut off. That is what the so-called United Republic of Cameroon that changed that power. We are singularly seceded from that arrangement, has now given its people. And the funny thing, comrades, is that on this day, it was yesterday, we saw people who call themselves supporters of Mr. Paul Biya going around celebrating. And I'm asking you, this is Mr. Paul Biya's record of 41 years in power. And I don't even have the time to go through all the bad things that have happened since he came to power. So I just want you to take us through this. What are these people celebrating? What are the so-called CPDM or whatever Mr. Biya's followers? What are they celebrating after 41 years in power? Comrade PK is not on seat. Dr. Ngambe, why don't you go first?
I'm back.
Okay.
Do you want me to still go? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, let me go first. So,
Comrade PK, if you are ready, you can go. What? To you, what is there to celebrate in Paul Biya's 41 years of dictatorship?
My brother, listen to me. Actually, this is a very sad situation. I remember in 1982 when this thing actually occurred, I was in Form 3 in Sacred College in Bamenda. And we all listened to that speech in the auditorium. Everybody was in frenzy. People thought things were going to change. But as a matter of fact, we have blamed beer and we keep on blaming beer. The root problem of allowing beer stepping so much into us was our elites who actually thought for themselves, not for the collective. It was like everybody for himself.
Yep.
You see, because we still had a lot of power in 1982 as the part of United Republic of Cameroon. And our allies, the Munas and the Fonchas, they had enough energy to be able to say, no, this is not what actually is in the Constitution, because the Constitution said when the president the president is unable or whatever, is the president of the National Assembly that takes over. You see, but then he changed and put his choice, which was for Paul Biya, which was a French stooge that had been planned behind. So Muna actually just accepted the position they gave him because he was a greedy person. And that's the modus operandi of a whole bunch of Southern Cameroonian Anglophone elites. It's all about them. And the disease has gotten so deep that it's better to just live with it and die than to try to go to the doctor. What we are doing today, we are fighting that odd, which has actually gone for 41 years. And the young generation doesn't really understand. Some don't really know why we are fighting, because sometimes when they tell you about the Enugu march out of the parliamentarians of the Eastern House, you can only imagine it. You don't know the political atmosphere of that time. So what I was saying today is also know it, because some of us were at least at that age to be able to understand the transition from Bia to Aijo to Bia. Aijo was a devil. Bia just consolidated that devil character because it was a whole plan that had been traced, and he was actually there to execute it. And our own force that could have said, no, this is not right in the collective, they actually ignored it. That's why when in 1984, the Republic, the United was taken out of the name and it came back to Republic of Cameroon, Goji Dinka was the only courageous person who stood his grounds and said, no, this is not actually what we bargained for. And the fun is he became actually an enemy to his own people. So you see that Bia has always cashed on that our hypocrisy, that our greed as Southern Cameroons, West Cameroon Anglophones, which is actually a very big, deep problem. It is this revolution that has made us to see ourselves what we really are as a collective, and that's what matters in society. You see, Bia did everything to consolidate, and nobody talked. Goji Dinka was locked in jail. Things were done. We went on strike in 1983, 1984 when the GC was going to change and things like that. By 1988, some of us had left the country and we were only reading the headlines. Then we didn't have internet, so you had to be lucky to be able to get a snapshot of a belated newspaper to read what had happened. You see, today, Biya has been 41 years in power. 7 years has been the biggest crisis that the nation of La Francophonie Cameroon had, because even the Makiza problem was a party political problem, which was an internal problem between them. Ambazonia is much a bigger problem. It's the most dangerous of all problems, because the Ambazonians actually they had their state. So that's why you realize that the French have kept a distance from it, because the moment they step into it, it's going to go global, and the world might ask a question. Because a lot of people don't even know that the part of that Republic of Cameroon was actually English. A lot. You have to spend a lot of time to be able to explain that. And so that's why you see the French have been walking on the high wire and be very careful not to do anything, touch anything, because if they do, it might bring it to the international scene. So they have to kill the smoke within. And Bia has realized that with a military option, he can actually destroy us once and forever, and the story is going to finish. So you see, our people are very enthusiastic, wearing uniforms to celebrate Paul Bia's 41 year. Brother, this is sickness. It's sickness. There's nothing to say again because sickness covers everything. You see, so we have a very big problem. These people are the ones who are against the freedom we are fighting for. And these are the people who are always looking for the faults within the Ambazonia ranks. These are the people who actually amplify the information before the Republic takes it to go further. Oh, even their own people are against them. That is the problem. So one of the biggest problem the Ambazonians have is the Ambazonian elites. These are the people who are the biggest problem. They actually who could have stood like Honorable Weber did in the parliament, and they even look at him like the ugly duckling. So we got a big
Well,
challenge. We got La
well,
Republic of Cameroon, and we have these elites who actually have spoiled everything, and they have enough influence because they're still.
you will be chased out. We are in this mess today because of the mentality of those involved. Even when you see the images scrolling across the screen now, how can you imagine that people will live in such conditions and still wear Paul Biya's so-called CPDM attire and go out to celebrate? What really are you celebrating? And that is what Bob Marley said. You have to emancipate yourself from mental slavery. If you are mentally enslaved, there's no way you can be free. You must first of all free your mind. Believe that you can and you have the right to be free. And that is what most of our citizens are yet to understand, even including those you call allies. They themselves are mentally enslaved. That is why they cannot see the possibility of Amazonia becoming the country that it ought to be. Because you can tell, you can preach from morning to night that you see this, and you can preach the benefits of it, but they cannot actualize those benefits as you preach to them. Dr. Ngwabe, this is why I wanted us to look back at how did we get here? Why did we allow this to go for so long without reacting till now, when things are so entrenched? Dr. Ngwabe?
You know, Tom, Mike, you know, you actually had a really good audio message. Was it 1 week or 2 weeks ago about this issue of Ambazonians always letting things go, not standing up to push against things? And this even applies to French Cameroonais, not standing up to push against things when things are going wrong, and that's why we end up in the situation where we are. You know how they talk that talk say when you give a person an inch, they'll end up taking a whole foot or a whole
Yeah.
yard, maybe even the whole football field. That's essentially what has happened, and it don't reach our neck now.
Not to cut you there, Dr. Mwambe, I'm sure you all saw the other video of the woman who gave birth uh, right there in the mud. Yeah, I'm sure you saw that as well. That is the reality of life. When I saw that video, my skin, I just clenched. You imagine the cleanliness that is supposed to be observed around such an operation. Birth, where the anatomy, you know, the anatomy of a woman. You need to protect the environment to make sure it is clean, sanitized. Even the new baby, how were they handling the new baby with all that mud, for Christ's sake? How were they doing it? Continue talking with me.
You know, I saw what is it? What do they call it? TikTok. I saw a TikTok video that was floating around in one of our forums. It was in French though, so I tried my best to understand it. But ultimately, the joke that one of the panelists made on a French media program is that the biggest achievement that Dictator Biya has achieved during his 40-something years of rule is marrying Chantal Biya.
Yes, yeah, I think I saw that, which is absolutely true.
Look, I want that laugh is the biggest contribution. But all jokes aside, my fellow Ambazonians and even French Cameroonais, look at the country that Dictator Biya inherited from Amadou Ahidjo, and look at what he's done with it. All these potholes everywhere. You have a higher chance of catching malaria in Yaoundé than in the villages. There's no water. The electricity cuts out and spoils your television, spoils your refrigerator. The country is going back to its intended God-given form, which is two separate countries. I mean, that's Paul Biya's legacy. And then worst of all now, at least Ahidjo even gave the country to him peacefully. Dictator Biya is not even going to hand over French Cameroon to someone peacefully. There's going to be a huge calamity in that country. That's what Dictator Biya has given the Cameroonese. And unfortunately, they have sat on their hands and watched it. I know we as Anglophones, as they call us, but I prefer to call us Ambazonians. I know we as Ambazonians, we are the conscience. We were always known as the conscience of that country. And we tried to warn everyone. My brothers, you all know now. We tried to warn them. They didn't listen. And here it is. Here it is. So, I mean, I'm just glad that we're going to have a country of our own, and we're not going to be stuck with that nonsense that they're going to go through, when Dictator Biya dies. And that's, for me, that's the biggest blessing of this whole situation, is that it took Dictator Biya to do all this mismanagement, to take that country to the lowest of the lows, for Ambazonians to finally wake up and realize that we need to stand up and fight and liberate ourselves from the mess that the world put us in by trying to put together a democracy and a dictatorship. It took Dictator Biya mismanaging La République du Cameroun to finally have all of our eyes to be open and to be willing to fight for this. So, Dictator Biya, Mr. Biya, I thank you. And Francophones, that guy, the choppy cake, that man, the chop cake while the country burns. He's eating
If
cake.
at all he is conscious, are you sure that guy is conscious? I don't know if he's conscious enough. But Honorable Saba Thomas, growing up, I remember the days when we used to have the Ghanaians. We used to say Ghana must go. Ghanaians came to our country. We saw Malians, Chadians, not to talk of Nigerians. The United Republic of Cameroon at the time was the place to go for opportunity seekers. And when they came, there was opportunity. And that is why even then, there was no need for people to leave the country to go out, because you go to school and you come out, you are guaranteed a job, a decent job with a decent salary, promotions regularly. You didn't have to go running to Yaoundé every day to have your money come to you. Now, 41 years after, what do we have? We have complete anarchy. Complete anarchy. And the sad thing is that people still go out that they are going to celebrate. And I ask myself, I mean, what Kool-Aid are these people drinking? What are you celebrating? These bad roads we have seen, a war, a ravaging war. Comrade PK, you're putting up your hand. I'll give you the chance to come in first. Go ahead.
I just want to, sorry for cutting you short. I want to interject because
Go ahead.
anytime from now I'm going to be off because I got some appointment coming, which is very serious, and I'm
Okay.
sick. So I said I couldn't miss you guys. What the
I
brother
appreciate
said, what Uncle said, you see, I don't even want to talk about the transition. You see, if you look at Cameroon very well, they are very afraid of that day that Biya has to leave because biology is going to take him out. Biology is going to take him out. Now, the problem is what comes next? What
Nobody
comes
knows.
next? I will tell you, but I won't say it in public because it's also a strategy. What I will just say is Ambazonians have to get their acts together. That's the most important part now. Because what comes next is not going to be controllable. So let's be able to put our acts together and control our game. That's all I can say. I won't say anything in public because it's also people are watching us, enemies are watching us, so they're taking notes. Let them fry themselves in their hot oil. We got to be able to see how we can put our acts together, consolidate our differences, and get ready because the transition is not going to be good. It's not going to be good. The world is getting into transition because of the Ukraine-Russia war. The world is getting into transition because of the Gaza war in Israel, which is going to be a regional war very soon. Many people are taking part in it very soon. Listen to me. What is coming? And the North, and the Sahel, Africa, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, everything is a factor that's going to play something in the next year to come. Wait and see. So we Ambazonians, we have just one chance in the next 1 year because 2025 is 13 months. We 25 years. It's in 13 months. So we have to get our acts together and get everything steady and come to a compromise, forget our differences to seize the moment and do what we can do. If it meets us in chaos, we're not going to actually make use of it. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you again, Comrade PK, for braving the cold and to come on. It's much appreciated. Yeah. So, Dr. Wambe, you can come in there, and you were about saying something.
Well, I mean, to my brother PK, I know that you're about to check out, so I want to make sure that I wish you well, and I hope that you get better soon. I personally, I
Yes,
also hate
brother.
being sick. I hate being sick. So as I'm seeing you there and you're toughing it out, I want to thank you for toughing it out and coming to join us to
Thank
talk
you. I
to our
couldn't
people
miss
in
it. I
this.
couldn't miss it.
No,
Yeah,
it's
in
I
much
this
couldn't
beautiful.
miss it.
appreciated,
It was
Comrade
a
PK.
nice
I really
thematic.
appreciate it. Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you
this is
so
a
much.
very
Thank you,
sad
brother.
moment in the history of our. This is a very sad moment in the history of the birth of our nation. And I know the women of our country, the women of the world know that it is painful to give birth. It is painful to give birth, but when that child comes, you love that child with all your heart. I mean, I have my son here with me, and watching what my wife went through to give birth to him, you know, it's a miracle, right? But I love this little guy, and this pain that we're going through, Ambazonia, we're gonna love our country. We're gonna love our country
Yeah.
so much, and we're not gonna allow anybody to joke with it. Anybody who wants to betray our freedoms, who want to take that country from us, what we'll do to them, they'll regret ever even attempting it. That's what we're going
That's
through
it.
right
So we
now,
have to
and it's
maintain.
hard. Yes, so I really want to appreciate you, Comrade PK, for joining us.
Thank you.
Hope you
Thank
get
you,
well
brother. Thank
soon.
you. Thank you.
Eat a lot of, drink a lot of juice. You know, eat a lot of pepper
Yeah,
soup. Pepper soup.
I was drinking some hot stuff to clear my throat.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, it
So
will be
Thank
well.
you
It
so
will
much.
be
It was a
well.
wonderful topic. That's why I told Brother Mike that listen, even if I'm sick, I'm going to crawl in front of my phone to be able to talk because it's an opportunity to
No,
talk about this, Yes, and we can continue it
I'm
even
sure.
in discuss in the chat.
I'm sure ambassadors have benefited from the information you put out there, and that's what we need: a diversity of views and opinions, so that we bring out the best ideas. Now,
Thank
let
you.
us take a look at the occultic society that is group that is called the CPDM. Um, I don't know. It seems that country is now in the hands of a clique, a mafia gang that is specialized in spilling the blood of innocent people. It's an occultic regime that specializes in human sacrifice. You find all manner of horrible people in there. They are murderers, they are rapists, they are homosexuals, they are just people who are out to cause, they are thieves and embezzlers, you name it. Like Hillary Clinton would say, a bag of deplorables. These are the people who have held that country hostage. They have held the country hostage. They have destroyed the destinies of millions of people. And they don't hesitate to kill you if you try to challenge them. These are the people in charge of La Republique du Cameroon right now, and they are not willing to let go. So, Officer Thomas, like Comrade Pico was saying, when you look at La Republique du Cameroon's future, can you say there is light at the end of the tunnel, even after Probia? Is there any hope for the future for anyone living in that damn country? Is there any hope for the future? Looking at the caliber of people who are in charge of that place. Officer Thomas.
Only have hope in a society where you have people that are innovators, where you have people that are patriots to build a society that they are growing in. There is no patriot in La Republic Cameroon. So how can you have hope in such a country where everybody is struggling to destroy the country as fast as he can? And I don't know if they are destroying it to leave or they are destroying it to stay in that same country. There is no hope in that country even after Bolivia. The only hope you can give country is taking away sardine and bread. What can tell us if you guys watch that the sardine well. There was one, I would describe the grandmother, shared the sardine and the bread. It didn't have a share, or my share is in the back. But he is buying the share the bread of his friend. Look at asking what in her mind is, how can happen that I see that he take this bread guy to me? What this in Larabont is sardine bread. Comrade Mike, there was a I watched about 10 years ago in Congo Republic. Sister went to give drugs in a certain remote area. This lady had been walking in the lamba for hours using canoe. She will use canoe, get her out of the canoe, and walk on foot in the lamba inside water. She arrived at a certain village. The very first thing the chief of that village said, "What have you brought in? Do you bring have you sardine?" 10 years ago, I carried my head. Look at what a chief of in Congo, Brazzaville, is asking Reverend Sister that has come drugs to his people. What have brought for me? Sardine is what she could ask.
That is
So
that
if we
is
come back to Larburu, if we bring it back to Larburu Cameroon, do they think what they do not development for them is an abstract. Take your development away, but give them bread and sardine. That is
and
what they'll
beer
be contented with.
and beer.
If if you top it up with 3 3 S, oh, Pobia will never go away. That's why you see them kneeling on the mat, praying that let the king never go away. This king goes away. We've lost our stand and 3 3 S. There was a prayer I followed one a month ago when a tone woman was praying in their language, telling Pobia that she knows Pobia is a very nice man. The money percent to her to take the husband to the hospital, that money never reached. She don't know what happened with that money. She has lost this member of her family. She has lost this. I know, Mr. President, you are a very good person. You will say, so what am I saying here? Paul Biya has not constructed any road to his village, but has become an philanthropist to his people, giving them money when you are sick. He gives you money to go to the hospital or whatever. So these people do not care about roads. And I wonder if Paul Biya gives them this to go to the hospital, how do they usually fly to go to the hospital, or how do they manage to get to the hospital is what I do not understand. These people, there was an interview granted to Dr. Foncha and Andre Marie Mbida. The interviewer asked Andre Marie Mbida, what does she appreciate about France? Andre Marie Mbida said, they appreciate France because France is giving them everything they want to live on. That same journalist left, come to and went to Foncha. What can Foncha tells him about the British? Because Andre Marimbida has said France has developed La Republique Cameroon and is giving them everything they want. Dr. Foncha said the British has taught them one thing: how to catch fish. Whenever they will be hungry, they will get their hooks or net and go to the sea or river, catch fish. So learn how to catch fish so that when you're hungry, go and fish for fish. Do not expect somebody to give you fish. La Republic is still in that mentality of taking fish from France. That is why they happy when offered them. That's why they are happy when bread is given to them. When you top it up with three export, they are gone. Nothing left again. But the Southern Cameroonian person was never grown in that manner. So Largo will always keep on appreciating Paul Biya for being their president for the next, he can be there for the next 100 years. But the Southern Cameroonian man will not even tolerate this guy to be there even for 1 week. But he's a nightmare to the Southern Cameroonian person. What can you tell a Southern Cameroonian that our roads are there, we have the capacity to contribute money by ourselves to construct those roads, but this guy will refuse. Those roads are state roads, so you cannot touch them. Let the roads be there. While we are receiving baptism of the mud every year, let the roads be there. Why dust is giving us TB every summer? That is what they prefer. We must never touch roads. What can you add that the Southern Cameroonian man in Bamenda is prepared to construct another dam to supply them with drinking water? But La Republic said you cannot construct another dam to provide you with water. We
Yeah.
will keep on giving at Mbatu Dam there, which is not enough for the population of Bamenda today. They prefer it, and they will somebody they call a general manager from Yaoundé to not that to run that project to purify the water and give it to them, but every cent that is coming in, so far as I'm concerned, shipping to Yaoundé, their private pockets. What can you to ever appreciate about these people who knows nothing about development to them? For we have long expected to die more years ago, but unfortunately, he is still there. But La Republic deserves him to be there while we will leave them continue in that quagmire.
Well, like you rightly said there, Thomas, a lot of people in Cameroon, they do not believe in self-reliance. They don't even know self-reliance. Unlike us, we were taught to fish, not to be, not to depend on handouts or for someone to give us fish. That is a big difference between us and them. So that is the reason why we Ambazonians must understand that as long as we continue be to have this unholy affair with La Republic of Cameroon, we will never ever know progress because they insist on being those controlling things and they don't know how to manage anything. They don't believe in creativity or they don't know how to create anything. That is why you see a person will drive an expensive car, park it, and enter a house because they don't know
A
any
thatched
better.
house.
When a person prefers bread and sardine to anything else, I mean, you can only go as far in life as you are willing to dream. If you your dream is to be able to have bread and sardine and one beer every day, if that is what you hope for, that is where you end. That is where you end. There's no way you can ever rise above that because that is to you, that is the epitome of living a good life, having bread and sardine and a beer a day. That's the way they live. So when you see people who, again, I come back to being mentally liberated first before being able to liberate yourself physically. When people are so mentally enslaved like that, there is very little you can do to save them. So the best thing to do is to leave them alone. It's just like leaving a pig where it's supposed to be and not bring it into the house because it will mess your house. So we leave La Republique in their mess. We leave them in their mess. Now, Dr. Ngwambe, I have looked at the docility that permeates within the CPDM, where people still believe that this man called Paul Biya is the Messiah. Some, by the way, you know, some are advocating that he should stand for elections again, right? I'm sure you know that. When people are so docile, so brainwashed to believe that Paul Biya, even when he is so mentally depreciated, should still be the one to run for president. I look at the CPDM today as an occultic society where you are simply supposed to follow what you are told. You are not supposed to question anything. An occultic society that is led by a bunch of bloodthirsty vampires who have continuously fed on the blood of ambassadors, especially. And since Paul Biya's ascension to the office of their presidency, the blood has continued to flow in that country. The blood has continued to flow, and it is flowing even to today. And as recent as yesterday, that like we see, the blood is continuing to flow. This man has been like a curse to that piece of land. And I begin to ask myself, knowing what we know about the CPDM and what it has done and continues to do, can anyone be a member of the CPDM and still call himself a decent person? I don't think anyone can call himself a member of the CPDM and still say I am a decent person. You are corrupt. You are someone who does not fear spilling the blood of others so that you alone can survive, because that's what they've been doing. You are someone who will go out and encourage the slaughter of people like Amazonians have been slaughtered for the past 7 years and more. Is there any decent person in the so-called CPDM that they say they are celebrating Mr. Paul Biya's 41 years in power? 41 years. One person, 41 years in power. Dr. Ngwambe.
You know, as you were talking, I just wanted, because I had to check again to make sure that I state dictator Paul Biya's age correctly, because I know I'd seen somewhere where it said he was 90. So I wanted to go and double check to make sure, because I was like, man, we where we did US, they're giving our senior brother, our senior comrade, President Joe Biden, grief for wanting to run in the upcoming election because he's in his what? I think he's going to be 82. Well, how old is
80 something.
80
Yeah.
something like that. 82 or something like
86,
that.
I think.
They're giving him grief. Yeah, they're giving President Joe Biden grief for his age. But in La Republique du Cameroon, no one is even batting an eye. That Paul Biya did 90 years old, and they want to make that guy run again next year.
Yes.
When next year he will be 91. Is it next year he's running, or is it 2025 where he's running? So he'll probably be 91,
2025. Mm-hmm.
2020, so he'll be 92 in 2025, and they want to make that guy run for presidency. Bye-bye. Look at Popo.
No, he'll be 90. He'll be 92.
Yes, Honorable Sama, CPDM, they don't like that guy. Popo, the people the way they want me you run again, oh, they don't like you. I tell you, they don't like you. Because for that 92, no, if you don't relax, go you back for your village, enjoy your grand picking them. If you're so your picking and they bush, you do for you your bush, go stay with them. They take you all around for that different francophone party them, where they'll celebrate you, they'll put you for high table, all that kind of thing. Now your life that way you get for the enjoy now, but you did there. And the only reason why the people then they want keep people they know, because they know say they chop for your back.
Of
That's
course.
the only reason why they keep you. They say they chop for your back, and they no one rock the boat where if some different man way you enter no. Maybe he go one show say he be na man way, he be na law and justice, so he go the bank all man way in the thief. But because they no say the record of thief, you no go reach your ear, will you even be able to do anything? No, they just want keep you for there. They want place you for there. That's what they talk about French. They want place you for there. May you just there like the figurehead. Then they chop for your back. It's a sad situation, and it's unfortunate that your own children and your wife. I don't know how much they. I don't want to say that they don't love you, but they don't even really care for their own safety. Because if they really cared for their own safety, they would be trying to figure out an exit strategy where you can leave power with dignity. You hand over the country in some kind of fair electoral process that elects a new leader, so that you all can transition. Your family, the BIA family, can transition from the political scene of that country and maybe even go and live abroad, where they can enjoy the stolen wealth that they've taken from that country in peace. Mm-hmm. Because what that country is going to fall upon, right? And what is going to happen to them the day you pass away. I mean, I would like to say I don't want to wish that on my worst enemy, but you all have deserved it. you all would have earned it. Whatever evil, whatever mischief is going to fall on the Biya family after Dictator Biya's death, the family has earned it. CPDM has also earned it, because instead of them telling the truth to Popo, instead of telling him the truth that, hey, my man, 90 years old, it's too much. Oh, I beg, go on vacation, enjoy your last days of your life. You can even be an advisor to the next coming. They don't want to do that. They just want to keep stealing,
No,
run the
no.
country to the ground, and then we're gonna. It's sad.
The point
It's
is
sad.
this, Dr. Mwambe. The point is this: they are using it as the what? Their ATM. This is looting time, open looting time. There's nobody to ask why, because the guy is sleeping most of the time. So everybody is just looting now, because like PK was saying, nobody knows what will happen after Povia leaves. Nobody knows. And people are just fortifying their treasuries in preparation for that. When it happens, if they have to leave, they leave with enough loot to go live eternally. That is what is happening in that country. There is no future. Nobody knows what is going to happen when Popia is down. I see them running around with Frank Bia. They say he's going to take over, but they can take him out at any time. There's no guarantee. So when you look at Popia, like you are saying, the man is going around disgracing himself wherever he goes. We saw him some time ago when he was interviewed by Mo Ibrahim in Paris some years back. He was making a fool of himself. A man who have used a microphone a million times, he was given a microphone to speak. I was pretending as if he doesn't know what to do with it. Do you want me to say something? And then we saw him again when he went to see, I think, Macron. He got out of the car after being escorted as close as possible so he could get to Macron before falling down. He was walking there just like a robot. He was walking like a robot. Why will you expose yourself to that? We saw him again the other time, the last time he appeared for the so-called 20th May. He sat there and peed in his pants. He peed there in his pants, and when he got up, the thing was drenching, and the wife was trying to hide it with a pillow. We all saw it. Then we saw him again when he came here to Washington, D.C., when we went there to challenge him. We saw what happened there. The man was visually confused, didn't know where he was. I said, who are these people here? Are they important people here? You want me to talk? I mean, and then he kept passing gas like farting like a horse in that place. I mean, why are they exposing this man to all this torture? Why will you do this to yourself? When will this man go and rest? When will he rest? They are just putting him there as a figurehead while the looting is going on. It is really, he is rarely seen in public because the stamina is not there anymore. How can you say you are a leader, you go out to meet your people? Even to speak. Most of the time when they say he's speaking, it is either a picture that is put there and then there's a voice, or it's a recorded something. The man is gone. There's La République du Cameroon is a leaderless country. It's a leaderless country. This is a woman again giving birth in public, in mud, in mud. That is mud. That is Pobia's legacy right there. That is Pobia's legacy. I want the so-called CPDM people, the Mbolamokis, the Jackass, Mbolamoki, and the Mojas and the others. This is their legacy there. Let them come out and defend it. The Tabe Tando, whatever their name is, let them come out and defend it. This is the legacy of their Papa Ele and Dion Gutes, all of them. Let them come out and defend this. Let them come out. A woman giving birth in public, in mud. I cringed when I saw that thing. It's so, I mean, it's so disturbing. That's the husband picking the wife and sliding in mud there, just managing to get her to that place. And Dr. Ngwambe, you are of the medical profession. You are of the medical profession. When you are looking at something like that, and you imagine we have had women who go into birth and they have medical complications. If there's a medical complication there, that woman will be dead. She's dead. What will you do with a medical complication in such a situation? What would those people there do? There's no instrument. I don't even think they have even a knife there. I talk to
Bro, bro,
what?
bro, only the way my heart they cut when I look at this situation, because the challenges of infection are so high in this
Yes,
particular circumstance. Because look all that mud way they didn't know. Only the infection, you know, where this woman can be subjected to. I mean, it's scary, right? And then even the infant, what the infant could go through, the kind of infection that the infant can go through. What if she bleeds out there because they cannot rush her to the hospital fast enough after this birth? I mean, the way that Dictator Biya has left that country with the level of mismanagement. I mean, I hope there's a special place in hell for people like him. I really hope to. I know the devil now. If the devil exists, I pray the devil be like, my friend, even you two know you pass me. I don't even know. So say I want me you did for here because your own evil know you feel replace me.
yes.
I mean seriously. I think of just the amount of kata infections, right? You know, the strep throat, upper respiratory tract infections that people gain in our beloved homeland just because of these poor roads. You know how when the dry season comes, now all places don't dry, all that dust way they can up, you breathe down, they hang for your nose, infection they come. You understand that? People are dying
Mhm.
every day just because of this failed leadership
Oh,
that our poor people
look at the
have had
car.
to go through.
Look at the car. You see the driving mirror. The driving mirror is face down. That means that mirror has no use.
And time Mike, you know you know the additional sad thing about this misleadership of this of leaders of misleaders like Dictator Villa is that it is because the way they mismanage their countries, it gives all of us black people, all of us people of African descent, a bad reputation, a bad name. You'll see these Oibos, they'll mock us. These Makara, they'll mock us, oh, that they cannot even rule a country. You understand now? They just want to steal all. That's all this is just emblematic of that, and it just typifies the some of the funny statements that misleaders like Dictator Bia are causing the reputation of all black people. Because mind you, in addition to this type of stuff affecting the reputation of Africans, it also affects the reputations of our African American brothers here. The mistreatment that they have received all these years here is because of misleaders like Dictator Bia. That's why we don't have the respect that we're supposed to be able to
And because
deserve.
of that, some of them will say, "Well, I better endure whatever I'm going through here than what others in Africa are going through." And to some extent, they may be right. Huh? You see, uh,
Yep.
just look at that car. Look at the car. The car, you will not believe that is a car that is actually allowed to run the roads. You see, if
And
you were to put that vehicle through an inspection, I don't know what you are going to come up with, because it's just terrible, and that is what our people have to endure every day.
and to the listeners who are listening to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? There are very beautiful places in Africa. I've been to Ghana, Accra before. I've been to Lagos, right? All those places, they're nice looking places. You
Yep,
understand now?
yep.
I mean, I know Lagos has issues with the water crisis and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, at least in Accra, I mean, we didn't really have those type of issues. Lagos are English speaking African countries. I mean, they're really developed. There's very reliable internet access in Nigeria and in Ghana. You understand? I know my dad used to tell me about how beautiful Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, is. So I
Yes,
mean, we do
yes.
have nice places in Africa, but it's just that there are certain countries, especially the French-speaking African countries, because of the misleadership of the leaders and the mischief of France, that it gives all of Africa a bad name, unfortunately. Unfortunately, and
I,
this is
I,
what we
I,
Ambazonians are fighting for, so we can fix
you know
for
one thing.
ourselves at least.
The problem, the thing is this: it is not that difficult to turn things around. It's very
Yep.
easy to turn things around. It just takes having the right people in place. Just having the right people in place with a little bit of money, you can change things around. I'm telling you, because even with the roads that you see there, the main thing that you need to do to make sure that the road is pliable, first thing, drainage. make sure no water accumulates on the roadway, because water it has a tendency of destroying road like nothing else. Make sure the road surface is dry. That's why in those days of PWD, they were very keen at filling up all potholes that emerge. They will come in, fill them, compact them. That way, the road stays dry and the road is drained. And even with the roads unpaved, you were still able to drive safely. Compared to what you have today, you have a semblance of tar, but you have potholes everywhere. Mr. Matalas, you see, we are just trying to. I don't know if those who are listening, the CPDM people, will be able to wipe the shells that have been put on their eyes by Mr. Pobia and the so-called CPDM vampire empire to see the grave that they are in. Because I don't know what else to call it. It's a grave they are in, and they think they are enjoying a good life. We are just trying to expose all these things. Look at infrastructure is. We saw the other day where they made some kind of a makeshift bridge, and when the car was crossing, it actually went into the river. These are oh Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy.
Uh,
I don't think that
Cover
is
Mike.
going to be.
Yesterday we were laughing about baptism. Today, another element that's just added into the whole thing. The roadsides and the mud has become a maternity women to be giving birth. That
Yes,
is La Republic emerging after 2025. They are calling 2025 and since 2025 is some hundreds of years to come. It's just 12 years, and with the present situation, La Republic will be worse than what it is today. Like the journalist was describing, that Yaoundé has 3 million inhabitants, 3 million broken electric poles, 3 million garbage stinking all over, what with the
yes.
heaps of garbage all over Yaoundé, 3 million bad roads in it, and there is nobody with the 3 million people in Yaoundé. There is nobody that is responsible even for anything. Even the number one man who is called the president, living in the same Yaoundé, has no authority to tell anybody to change anything. Well, he cannot change anything in La Cameroon, like in Yaoundé, where he's coming from, because he does not know the plight of the common man on the. Have you ever been to Yaoundé when Pobia is living in Vogmeka to wherever he's going, whether flying out of the country or so? They will block the whole city for 24 hours. Pobia will not go to the airport by land. He is
Mhm.
going via helicopter from the president's to Simale, but the whole city is blocked. No shop is open. No are running. So
They are having they're having a feast there now with a I
the
think a
sardine.
so-called Brazilian truck that has fallen, and everybody's having a good time now. You see, like you are saying, the funny thing is that you will see these people with the road so bad, the civilian is trying to make to dodge the pothole, and the person who is supposed to, the responsible party, be it the mayor or the minister or so on, so called, who is supposed to fix that road, will come and try to make his way to around the same pothole, the same pile of trash, as if he's not seeing it, as if he's not seeing it. That you see, when people are so brainwashed that something like this is seen now as a feast. It's a feast. And I saw another video where I think it was another truck that fell down with gas, a gasoline truck. We call it petrol back home, and people were in it, standing in it, carrying the petrol with their hands, and And I was just in shock that the slightest spark will
Everybody's
completely
done.
roast them there
Everybody's
to
done.
death. But that is a risk that people take. That is a risk that people take to survive. They see it as an opportunity, putting their lives at risk. You see, look at what
Comrade
people
Mike,
have to do.
like we are saying, that's a truck carrying liquor or beer. We don't know what has happened, but due to the bad road, the truck slept. You see how happy people are? So can you see? Can you
Yeah.
imagine how happy this young man is for drinking, for having picked 2 bottles? I don't know if it's only 2 bottles of the beer.
Mhm.
You see how happy he's drinking it in Europe. Can you see such an incident? Even if such an
No,
incident took place here in America, the police force will cut off the whole of that area, protect it. Nobody, if it's a double lane way, they'll block one completely for everyone to use one lane. But look at what is
that
going
is
on in that
that,
republic.
that is that is the hard life that people have to go through. There was another video. I think I'll play that video the next time I have a show of this little boy. I think that boy was like 10 years, maybe younger. He was cracking these rocks. You know these rocks up in the northern zone. I think these are the rocks even, which are very
Concrete.
sharp. So he was cracking concrete. A young boy. He was sitting there. His feeble hands could barely lift the hammer. Each time I see that video, it really touches me. I tell you. And this young man was sitting there with no protection, no gloves, no eye protection, and you know how sharp those stones are. Uh, just when those things hit even your skin, your skin will bleed. But this young man was sitting there. That was his life, cracking concrete at the age of 10 years old. 10 years old. This is what
Comrade
Mr.
Mike,
Paul here.
I went through that younger than that age by far.
But it ought not to be the case this summer. That is not what it ought to be. A child like that should be in school. Uh, Things like this, there should be equipment to pick these rocks and lift them, put them in those trucks. But people are risking their lives. Some will go home with broken limbs. I mean, look at that rock hanging right there. If it comes down, would that young man
There
be
was
able to get out of the way in time? If he dies there, who
no
cares?
way. There was a day before we
So
left
I don't
school
know.
to go to the quarry.
Yeah, we can eliminate,
There was
all of the tragedies our people are going through, all the hardships. I think that, yeah, I don't know if that is the child I was talking about. This is a different one. It's a different one. This one is even bigger. This boy is much bigger than that one. But this is the same exercise. The same exercise. You see, that's what they have to do to survive.
our
That's what they have to do
best
to
foods
survive.
were not the hammer.
Look at the hammer. Yeah, I think again, coming back to what happened in Mamfe yesterday, we can end there. But we have seen what Mr. Bia has left. That is his legacy, legacy of failure, of misery and death, especially death. The number of people that this man has killed, the number of people that he has killed and continues to kill to this day. It's just unbelievable. He has killed all manner of people, killed even reverend fathers, reverend sisters,
Kill the
children,
so
grandparents, mothers, pregnant women, killed and buried, like in Gabu. So that is his record. And I wondered what the people who are celebrating him are celebrating. That's the record he's celebrating. So we cannot allow them to get away with it. So with that, Dr. Ngwambe, I would like for you to just say something about all that we've talked about today, and that will be a closing statement for today. I think we have highlighted what needed to be highlighted, uh, the lie that is being told in Mamfe. I hope our people can listen and understand that There is no way that this can be pinned on our restoration fighters.
My fellow Ambazonians, today is just one of those unfortunate days that repeats itself as we fight towards liberating our country and making sure that we have a sovereign, independent nation that is separate from La République du Cameroon. On behalf of the IG, we want to extend our condolences to our Ambazonian family in Mamfe. This pain and great loss you and we have experienced grieves our collective hearts. We stand in solidarity with you, and we promise you that the deaths of your loved ones, our loved ones, at the hands of French Cameroon operatives will not be in vain. These deaths, right, they're so heartbreaking. And the only thing that really consoles me is that through hardship and pain, sometimes something beautiful can be born. The birth of our country, right, it is very painful. But it's because of this pain that we're going through. It is this pain that is going to make us protect this country with all our heart and with all our might. I know these are not easy words, that you can hear, and it will take all the, the pain and suffering that we are all going through, and that you in particular are going through. It will not wash it away. It will not take it away. But it's really all that we have left. We are all we got. There's nobody else that is going to cry more than us. There's nobody that is going to liberate our country but us, and we can only do it together. So just my people, just know that we are all together. We are with you, my brothers, sisters, Mama and Papa, and for Mamfe, we are with you. You are in our thoughts and our prayers. I mean, bless you. Be safe. Have courage. Until we talk again. Take care.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ngrambe. I hope our people get those touching words and feel a little bit comforted for the pain that they're suffering, that they're feeling at this time. Yeah, Neil Sama Thomas.
Yeah. My final statement will go to Rick's stooges in the southern Cameroons, this Ngute. The question goes, John Ngute had recounted what happens in Garbo, in Benin, in Bali, in Mautu, in Kumba, Victoria Boya, in Kwakwa, in Lebialem. Today is in Mamfe. Do you have a conscience? Are the likes of John Ngute and the Atanganjis, do they have a conscience that these are our people that are being killed? Seeing this born in mud in the maternity, do you people have any iota of conscience? I believe that child which is born in mud on the way and what has happened in Mamfe today will lead to all of you abandon that chamber of torture which is killing your own people. If you people are humans enough with conscience, you will resign, not tomorrow, not in 1 hour's time, but now. That enough is enough. You guys have seen more than what we can imagine. But unfortunately, it seems you people are alive but have died long time ago. What we see moving around is your skeletons. We pray that God gives you back your souls to open your eyes and see what is happening with your own brothers and sisters, children, the unborn that are suffering due to your own making. When will this come to an end is the question that some of us who are in the field fighting against it are asking. And praying to God that God should end this our story as fast as possible, for we will not want to come here again tomorrow to talk about another incident elsewhere. Let this one be the last in the Southern Cameroons. Thank you, Comrade Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. I will start by saying this to those in La Republic of Cameroon who are deceiving themselves that they are celebrating Paul Biya's 41 years of destruction. I don't know what you're celebrating. I really don't know what you are celebrating. Like Mr. Samuel is asking there, do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? There's just one statistic I'll give you, those of you who say you're celebrating. You can tell the well-being of a country by the number of people who are seeking to enter or to go to that country to live in or to seek opportunities. That is how you can tell when a country is doing well. When other countries or the citizens of other countries are striving, fighting hard to go to that country to live there and do business there or work there. That is how you can tell that a country is doing well. Now, that's why you see many countries fighting to go to America. Some are fighting to go to Europe and other countries, even African countries. Many are fighting to go to South Africa or Uganda or Ghana. They are fighting to go there because they know that when they get there, the situation will be much better than where they're coming from. How many people around the world are seeking to go to La Republic to go and stay there or to settle there? Even the citizens of that country don't even want to go there. And that is why you see the rate of migration of a country tells you how good or bad things are in that country. La Republique du Cameroon right now is like a frying pan. It's like a frying pan. Anything in there is trying to get out. That is, people to the point where scammers are now deceiving people with promises of getting them out of that boiling pot and using that to scam them even of the little resources that they have. It can only tell you how bad things are in that country. So my question then is this to you, La Republique Cameroon, or the so-called CPDM or cultic followers. What are you celebrating in Mr. Paul Biya's 41 years of dictatorship? When everybody, including you, many of them who are pretending that if they had the opportunity of living in that country, they will leave it. So what then are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? The massacre in Mamfe, I can only believe that when something like that happens, considering all those who were around the vicinity of the incident and did not intervene in stopping it, something that must have taken at least 1 hour to commit such a gruesome act of not just murder, but arson as well. And nobody was there. Those who claim to be in control of the territory were not there to intervene. I can only conclude that La Republique du Cameroon was involved until someone can prove to the contrary that someone else did it. At this point in time, given all the evidence and the eyewitness accounts that we have received, La Republique du Cameroon is responsible for what happened in Mamfe yesterday. They bear the responsibility both directly and indirectly because they created a situation where there is that much insecurity at this point in time in our territory. So they bear the responsibility both directly and indirectly. They are responsible for it, and especially the Walking Dead, Paul Biya is responsible for it. So he has nothing to celebrate because his ascension to the office of president has been nothing but a curse to those who have been under his leadership. He has brought nothing but untold misery and suffering and death to millions of people. He has destroyed the destinies of thousands of youth, and many are scattered all over the world today. Some never to come home again. They are lost forever to their families, thanks to Mr. Paul. And that is his legacy, and he cannot be allowed to get away from it. He's one of the worst things that ever happened to that triangle. And let no one tell you otherwise. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I would say this is, we come to the end of our program today. Thank you for staying tuned. We've been having Facebook fluctuating up and down, but I see you are still hanging in there and glued in there, and I appreciate you staying there. Let us not allow ourselves to be deceived and manipulated. We have to stay firm, stay committed, be positive, and believe that at the end of the day, Ambazonia will be free. So good night to you all. Take good care of yourselves and each other. And with that, the war zone is out.